Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, I think it's important that I am here as the last member of this committee to ask my questions, because so much of what my colleagues have hit on, unfortunately, comes back to my home state of Alaska. The front page of the Anchorage Daily News this morning talks about high fuel costs. The village of Noatak is paying $15.99 for fuel. Their stove oil is now at $16.47 throughout Alaska. We are above $5 a gallon. But this is not just Alaska. Ours are just more extreme. And as you know, it has an impact on the most vulnerable. Unfortunately, this headline follows the headline earlier this past week with the announcement of the cancellation of the Cook Inlet leases. And again, if you are concerned about your energy prices and you're one of the 400,000 people that live in the South Central area that rely on natural gas coming out of Cook Inlet, and now we're seeing the articles following about how the producers are going to be able to fulfill the contracts for natural gas for people there in that region. They're wondering what's going to happen on that front. But they know that this news follows what we have seen with the actions from the Biden administration with regards to the NPRA and basically taking half of NPRA offline. Of course, this follows the news from the very early days of the Biden administration when the ANWR leases that we had worked so hard to help facilitate were pulled. This follows the news with regards to the roadless and limiting any opportunity for economic, or limiting the opportunity for economic development in the southeastern part of the state. Just yesterday in the Anchorage Daily News is an article. The feds are suing the state of Alaska over subsistence, unprecedented to have this federal legislation against the state of Alaska. And it's kind of this cumulative where, again, you have to understand where the average Alaskan is looking at the news. They're seeing what they're paying, and they're saying, this makes no sense whatsoever. We can understand if there's an administration that has a keen focus on climate, and we appreciate the issues related to climate and what we need to be doing to address matters of emission. But what is happening in the state of Alaska is people are being driven out of their homes, driven out of their communities, and driven out of the state because of these policies that clearly appear to shut down energy production in a resource-rich state. I want to ask about the Cook Inlet leases and about the Ambler project. You have cited that the Cook Inlet leases were canceled because of lack of interest from the industry during the scoping and the draft EIS period. And yet, your department told my office that this decision was based off of lack of industry comment during the scoping period, which took place in September of 2020, when we were in the middle of a pandemic, when oil was $40 a barrel, natural gas was $1.92. The commentary that we have received since this announcement from the State Oil and Gas Association, the Resource Development Council, the state of Alaska, and the most significant producer in the inlet is that they submitted their comments, they submitted their interest, and it appears that those were not considered. Can you share with me what kind of a reach out the department actually did to determine a level of interest in Cook Inlet?
Thank you for the question, Senator. And it's my understanding that no specific companies expressed interest in this sale, both over 2020 and 2021, when oil prices had essentially recovered from the COVID impact. And while those associations did comment, only specific companies bid on the leases. And that is a key indication to the team of the interest in the area.
And again, I think this would follow, I think it was Senator Lee who might have mentioned the point, that if there isn't an opportunity to know whether these are even going to materialize, it makes it difficult to provide for comment. I'm close on time, and I know we have votes that have already started. I want to ask you about the Ambler Road, because this is something that we've had several members of the committee speak to, the issue of critical minerals. Senator Cantwell, Senator Hickenlooper have raised it. The administration has been very open in embracing the fact that this country needs to be producing more of our critical minerals. Couldn't agree more. But on the same day that the President lays down his executive order on minerals, your department pushed to reopen the record of decision for the Ambler project that, while this is not a mine, this would provide access to a mining district. And then shortly thereafter, BLM suspends the project's right-of-way agreement, which was granted back in 2021. And now this week, the courts have granted your department's request to go back and do more NEPA analysis. ADA applied for the Ambler right-of-way in 2015. The NEPA review, the ANILCA 810 analysis spanned 2 administrations, nearly 6 decades out there. And now it feels that we are even further behind. We're hearing that DOI is considering further actions now to cancel the right-of-way and to stall out this project. So we're in a situation where there is no amount of assurance that I seem to be able to gain to tell Alaskans that BLM is not dragging their feet on this project. So I would like your commitment that DOI will stop being a roadblock, ensure this project can move forward. Again, this is helping to not only address the nation's needs for minerals, but the President himself has stated that this is a goal of his administration. So I need to know that you will work with us aggressively, that you will stick to the timelines that will allow for this important road to continue. And as the court has indicated that they want to require a status report every 60 days, and continuing out, I need your commitment that you're going to keep us informed with the same briefings at these same intervals.
Senator, we're always happy to reach out and be in touch with your office. I know that we are consistently in touch with the staff in your office, and we're more than happy to continue that. If you have issues you want to discuss with us, we're happy to do that. With respect to Ambler, there were 2 issues, a subsistence analysis and tribal consultation. Those 2 things needed to be done correctly, and so that's what we are working on. I appreciate that. We'll absolutely be in touch with you on this issue.
I would ask also that you would look very carefully as to the activity that can be conducted during this limited field season coming up. There are activities that result in no disturbance that I would hope that the department, the BLM, would be working with those to help facilitate that.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.